I'd like to introduce Joe McPhillips. Joe McPhillips is a service user of NCBI in New Ross in County Wexford. Joe, you're very welcome to the show. Joe, would you mind giving us just a little bit of a background for yourself, your story, if you like?
I'm a man of 46 years of age. I worked in the construction industry pretty much since leaving school.
Mm.
And then at 33 years of age, I was working and my right eye hemorrhaged. It's all due to diabetic. My right eye hemorrhaged and then my left eye hemorrhaged. And about 6 weeks later, I was blind. I couldn't see my hands. And that's what happened to me 12 years ago. And my life went totally haywire. But here I am talking on the phone, talking technology to yourself and the good people listening. So there you go.
So things have kind of things have improved from there, but that must have been a huge impact on your life, right at the start when
Oh,
that happened. Can you tell us a bit about that, about the impact it had on your life?
it was just amazing for all the wrong reasons.
Mm.
I I was actually working. I was at a job up in Kilkenny and literally sitting down for my tea break. 10 o'clock and all the tools out, etc., etc. All my day, Monday morning, going along naturally, nothing to tell me I was what lay ahead at all. And I remember just looking at the radio in the van, turned on the radio, had the flask in my hand, sandwich in the other hand, took a sip of tea, bite the sandwich, and my right eye hemorrhaged, and I couldn't see absolutely nothing out of my right eye. And if someone needed to visualize that in a way, because I have total sight loss now, but if you ever mixed blackcurrant into a glass of water, and it was just how it went like that,
My
and
goodness.
then it just thickened up. So I ended up down in the ophthalmic surgeon's place in Waterford,
Mm.
and it went from bad to worse. He looked at my left eye then, and he said there's awful growths and hemorrhages at the back of that, and it's just not good. And within 6 weeks, heading for my birthday in March, I went from working and being fully functioning to someone who couldn't see his hands or his face in the mirror or his feet or clothes or anything.
That must be very difficult, not just for yourself. How did your family kind of react to that?
Oh, I think everybody was in shock. I hit denial big time, and I didn't think it had happened to me, and I'd handle it, and all the surgeons and the consultants, they're all wrong, and I'll be grand, and I'll come back out the other side.
Yeah.
But I was very lucky in the partner I have, Dahlia. She stood by me, and we were only after so we were only after moving in together about 5 or 6 months
Mm.
when all this happened. We moved in together in 2007, in August 2007, and then by March I couldn't see her, but she stayed with me, and we'd no reason to stay. We weren't engaged or kids or nothing, and she stayed. She was the rock that I built the rest of my foundation around as such, and my own family. I know it got to my parents a good bit, but I have a brother and sister, and they were solid too, but they didn't know how to ask or act, and it's just lack of information, I suppose.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I just went forward from there. I did get into depression and go downhill
Mm.
fast, and it took me a good year to even say get in touch properly with the NCBI and the guide dogs and whatever other facilities and people that are out there. But I think the acceptance part of it is very hard to get and very hard to come to. But
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's mind over matter at times too. And I know
Mm.
it's easy to say you have to accept, but like without sounding too hard strong, I have a son that's 10. I've never seen him. I have a daughter that's 16. I haven't seen her since he was 4.
Mm.
And that's just harsh realities. But then having said that, my son Jacob is going up with it, and so is my daughter really Annabelle. And they think it's just second nature to them.
Tell me something, Joe, from what you're saying there. I mean, that was obviously a particularly kind of dark time in your life in terms of how you were having to deal with it as well.
Yeah.
How did you get from that point to this point where you're kind of quite confident with the world around you and you're able to kind of get on with
Yeah,
life, I suppose?
getting comfortable with the world again was very, very hard. I never liked losing. I never like to give in. That's the more it actually. I never like to give in. I'd
Yeah.
always back at something, let it be work or life or problems or issues. I'd always try and face them head on. But this is a time that I had to change my mindset in the way that I had to accept. I just
Yeah.
had to accept the cards that they were dealt, and I can't reshuffle or repack them or whatever. And I just had to say, right. And it did take a good year and a half, 2 years of, sitting on the couch, feeling extremely sorry for myself, crying, etc., and just wondering why.
Yeah.
And and then I don't know, there's just one day that you just get up and you, you don't pan out, or you don't touch the walls as much, and then you kind of you know where the handle for the door is to the toilet, you know where the seat is, you know where things could be or couldn't. You can find your shoes, and then you just start remapping. It's
Yeah.
sort of mental mapping, I think, and you start remapping whatever it is, and you start talking to your family and say, look, lads, I need the chairs put back in when you leave the table. I need this and that, and then I can walk a little bit more comfortably in my own house or in my
Yeah.
parents or friends, and they
Yeah.
all kind of got to grips with it, and now they have a laugh and a joke with me as much as I have a laugh and a joke with them, but it really all comes down to acceptance and meeting good people and taking the advice you're given, because
Yeah.
sometimes you just won't take advice, and some people might have said I was bullheaded back in the past or something, but there's my way or the highway, but you just have to
But you weren't
roll with
having
the punch.
that.
Yeah, you have to roll with
Yeah.
the punches too and say, Jesus, and then having to put out your hand and meet other people you've never met and take their elbow and accept the guidance and accept the new familiar, I suppose, or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
one
the
of
new
those new
normal is
things
the
that,
way people are talking about things at the moment, and I guess there's an element of that in there as well.
yes,
There's like a new
yes,
normal to adapt to.
that's exactly it. And I laugh at these people when they say, oh, they can't see their kids and this and that, and I'm like, Jesus, I'd like to see the grass, or see
Yeah,
the clouds or something without being too
yeah,
dark and thick. But you still have your wits about you. You can get out and move on.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot to life than the partiality of the virus now at the moment. But
yeah,
that's a different
absolutely.
topic.
Tell me something. Just it's quite a journey that you've been on already. What sort of a part on that journey did technology play?
Well, technology is huge. Um, I wasn't really a tech person. You laugh at this now, and I think some of your listeners might, or your colleagues, but I was there, moved in with Dahlia in August 2007. Very quick story. We waited for the January sales, and we were going to buy the big telly and the computer. Now this is the truth though, never had a computer in my life. Never
Yeah,
had a lap, nothing. Just didn't. If it didn't come in a letter, or if I didn't get drawings for a walk or a map, or whatever, right? That
yeah,
was it. Like, I wasn't going emails and all. Like, what? Wait, that's just technology. That's for young people or something.
yeah, yeah,
So I tapped along and we bought that computer in the January sales. And 2 months later, I couldn't see the keyboard, couldn't see the screen. So that was my introduction to technology, or my
mm,
lack of it. And then
yeah, yeah.
after that, then I met a lovely woman, Aoife Josh is her name, and she came up and she was doing some stuff for me up in the house, and she just put a touchscreen phone into my hand, and because I was giving out about my Nokia N95 and the buttons and the alphanumeric keypad and all that, and
Yeah.
just not back and broken up and bits hanging off it and whatever. And she put in the iPhone into my hand and said, "Look, this is the way it's going to be. If you want, you should learn this." And there was nothing on it. I mean, pure blank, like it's going to be
Yes, yeah,
glass. And I said, "That's big money, and will I be able to do this?" And it would be a waste of money or whatever. So then I went along and I bought a Apple iPhone.
yeah.
First bit of technology I got, and started fiddling around with finger gesture. Hadn't a clue. But I have good friends of
Takes a
mine.
bit of getting used to right at the start, doesn't it?
It's very rewarding when you get to put your fingers the right way and it actually does what you think it should do. Then
Yeah,
you're swiping left or double tapping and flicking up and down.
yeah, yeah,
But I think it's like a new way or new job. You're learning your routine and what works and what doesn't. And it was just by literally burning the midnight oil. As I said earlier, I wouldn't give up, and I kept going and going and going. I had to learn it, and then now it's my go-to technology device,
Yeah.
big time.
And what would you say? What would you say you use the iPhone particularly for? What are some of the situations that you would find that particularly helpful?
Well, the iPhone, I use it all the time in every possible situation, from, good Lord, everything. Emails, text, phone, independence, stay in touch with people, maps, if I'm in a different town or city, if I'm out and we're spinning, we're on the road. And I have the app Foursquare, and you can just type into it, like looking for a place for food or this and that. And it'll tell you, it'll give you directions, it'll give you the distance, what they serve, a sample menu or something. You don't have to buy the software to go with the hardware. You know, it's in it, it's on it. And yes, the Apple devices are dear, but I find it extremely good value. I can't compare to Android. I never crossed that divide.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't go to the dark side.
Oh, stop. That's a sensitive subject here at the moment.
I
We've had
know.
debates about this.
I was listening. Well, Apple is getting my vote anyway,
Yeah.
and that's what it is.
Yeah,
But
well, with the new
with,
SE as well, it's going to be hard to beat. Um,
yes,
do you use much else in terms of kind of hardware tech? Do you
yes,
use? Yeah,
yes. I have. Oh God, I'd say everything that Apple ever brought out, I've got. I have. I bought the phone first, then I got an iPod that I could stick in my radio. So I wanted, actually 2 years ago, I think you helped me with my CD collection and how to cross it over and put it into the iCloud. That's
yeah.
gone back a while. But then I got the iPod, and then after that I got an iPad, and
Yeah.
then the Apple TV, Apple Watch, and then my latest addition to my Apple
You've,
ecology system was the AirPods.
you've
And
everything Apple.
but they just all sync and join up and go
Yeah,
together, and
yeah.
it gives you, as I said, it gives you a nice vein of pleasure that you might be totally blind as I am, or you might have low vision, and people I talk to and you meet, and you go, did you try this, or did you try that, or
Yeah,
what's this? And
yeah.
everyone gets talking because it's a very level playing field, and let you have sight or no sight or wherever you are in life. The technology side of it is excellent. Like, I even, as I said earlier, I have diabetes, and I managed to get a Libre sensor now, which is a little thing about the size of a euro coin. It literally sticks on your arm, a sucker thing. And I can scan that with my smartphone now, and I can give me my blood sugars straight away
Very good. Yeah,
without having to prick your finger or do the blood test things.
yeah,
And there's
yeah.
all little things like that coming out, and
Do you use any of the AI tech that's out there? Obviously, you've got it on the phone anyway with Siri, but do you use much else?
I have a smart speaker. I only recently got into the smart speakers.
Right.
I got an Alexa Echo, and it's very good. There's only 4 buttons on it, but I haven't touched one of those buttons at all. It just sets up, it works, it talks to you, it does what it says in the thing, and it's so handy. It just gives you more and more independence, and I'm using timers on that,
Excellent.
and with cooking, and like, I can't see the clock in the cooker, blah blah, but I can put in a pizza for myself and the young fella. I set the
Yeah.
timer at 10 or 15 minutes on the smart speaker, and away it goes, you know. And then I upgraded the Sky equipment, and I found it very frustrating that you couldn't record and do things with the old system because it wouldn't talk to you. And
Yeah.
now that when you Sky Go on the phone and with the remote control that they have now with the Sky Q, you can press the button, talk into it, and change the channel, pause the telly, go to whatever you want on, and that's very intuitive and coming back to you. There's a great app out there if people wanted to get it. I know we're not talking apps, but
Yeah.
there's one.
Give us a few ideas of apps that you like, actually.
There's one out there. I always had a great passion for books, and Borrow Box is the name of
Mm,
the app, and it's in association with all the Irish libraries. You have to be a member of the library, get your card and library membership thing or whatever. And
yeah.
away you go, and you can look up their audio books and the digital format as well. and just reserve them and get them and stay up to date and different things. And then I also have Audible and that kind of stuff. But as for apps, there's a Microsoft app out. You can get it on the Apple. It's Seeing AI, and that's SWING AI, and that's excellent. That's free, and it's a must get. I don't know if it's out on Android, but it's definitely a must get. And if you just fiddle around with that, it'll do short text, long text. It's not my head now. Short text, long text. It'll read
Now, when you say
barcode.
just so that people can kind of understand what you're saying there, when you say it'll do short text and long text, what
Yeah.
does it actually do?
If the short text now would be if I say if 3 or 4 envelopes came in my post, and I don't want to open Dahlia's mail or Jacob's or whatever.
Yeah.
So I can just hold my phone over. There's no pressing buttons. There's no anything, and it'll just within 3 or 4 seconds, it'll start reading the name and address that's on the letter.
Excellent.
So if it comes in and says Joe McPhillips, blah blah, I'll open that and flip it out into say like A4 size. So it's gone from just reading a few lines. That's the short text. And it's gone to reading long text. Then you hold it over. What I usually do for the right height for me is I put my elbows on the table and just hold my phone out flat from there, and it'll scan the A4 size sheet. So that'd be long text to me, and it could start with your address at the top, and then it'll come down long, and then it'll break it down. It could be a bank statement, it could be anything, personal letter, doctor appointment, different things that are private and to yourself, and you don't want other people going, geez, can you read that for me, please, or whatever. Because, you lose your independence. But, it goes along with short text, and then it'll also read barcodes. So say if you're cooking or, the bit that you would do, and if you had herbs or something that you like, you can hold up your little herb container. It'll scan the barcode and it'll tell you, that's black peppercorn, that's sea salt, that's
brilliant, isn't it?
Oregano, and it's all free. That's the big one. It's all free.
Yeah, it's a good point to make, because while a lot of the devices you might buy are kind of costly enough, you're actually getting some of these apps for free, which make a life-changing difference actually sometimes.
I've stopped paying for apps. Like I paid over 100 odd quid for different apps to help with reading books and text and things like that. But OCR and optical character recognition and things. But they're extremely pricey. But now there's a lot of, with the push that's on governments worldwide and different things, they're all like inclusive. They want to make an inclusive society and then move forward to help people with accessibility, and even let's have a hearing problem or manual or whatever.
That's kind of really helpful, though, those ideas about the way that you use different apps and everything, because to be honest, people like to hear just, are they actually practical in everyday life? And it certainly sounds like a lot of these things have made a big difference to your life. If you were to kind of describe the overall influence that a lot of this kind of tech, these different apps and different devices have had in your life, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as perhaps giving me back some of the life I lost.
Yeah.
It gave me back some more independence instead of, asking, what's this, what's that? You can scan, you can look, you can point your camera, it'll talk back to a lot of ways of what's around you, what's there. Even, Be My Eyes, things like that. They're all. Don't be afraid to use them, is what I'm trying to say. Like I was a technophobe back in the day. Just mobile phone. I would be lucky if it wasn't full of sawdust or something when it worked. That was a mobile phone to me. It was to make calls, to take a call and send a text maybe, but that was it. And then, but now you just have to roll the punches and change. And there's some great apps out there. Like I started cooking and things, and they go step by step with you,
Yeah.
And they say, this is number 1, this is 2, and you have your pan on and your heat or whatever, and you slowly build up your confidence. I'm no Gordon Ramsay in our hand, but I'm not exactly.
That's where we'll hear from you next.
Say again?
That's where we'll hear from you next. We'll launch our own cooking show or something. Yeah.
Well, sure. look,
Yeah,
stranger
sure, why
things have
not?
happened. Stranger
Yeah,
things have happened. Why not?
absolutely. Why not? Tell
Mm.
me something, if you were to kind of give somebody else some more advice. Obviously, some of the advice you've already given, just not being afraid of it, is actually some really good advice. Is there anything
Mm.
else you'd sort of say to somebody with sight loss who's just getting started with technology?
Yeah, just getting into it. Well, the first thing I'd say, regardless of which device you go for or whatever, I had no experience with a keyboard. I would learn the keyboard, like
Yeah,
where the keys are and what the letters are and numbers and all that, and take your time because I hadn't a clue. But if you do
yeah,
that and learn that, you get you'll adapt faster at different keystrokes and things. And then after that, then as well, don't be afraid to use the dictation on for sending texts or looking up on the internet. You know, the search box or whatever. Just go up there, tap it, and you don't have to type it in. Go down and you'll find the dictate button. Dictate, say what you want, see where it shows up, and then double tap to where you want to go.
that's a great tip.
And
Yeah, yeah,
that'd be just because anything that makes life easier is a plus. But definitely, I'd learn the keyboard would be a recommendation.
yeah.
And by all means, try and get in touch with the NCBI or the guide dogs or wherever you can, and maybe get an Android phone into your hand and get one of the Apple smart or whatever's out there, whatever tickles your fancy,
Yeah.
and then have a go off both of them or talk to yourself or someone else that you meet. And then they get going, and sure, then they're ringing everybody and annoying everyone, and then they blame you.
Yeah,
But that's part of
that's
life.
it. That's it. Oh, very good. That's been really good advice, and it's been good to catch up with you, Joe. Appreciate your comments on that. I think a lot of people will identify with some of the things that you mentioned, but also I think it's a bit of an eye opener as well for people at times to just hear about how others are using technology. So that's brilliant.